Howdy y'all, welcome. It is my birthday today, how exciting. Of course, here's Milton waiting on his cake. I already had my cake already. Of course, y'all can't give me cake, but you can give me something even better, which is hitting that subscribe button. It's the one time in the video I'll ask for y'all to do anything. It's free. Make sure you hit that like button as well. It's greatly appreciated. It'd be the best gift y'all can give me. Of course, here's Trump saying, "Bring me my cake." Now, enough of the birthday celebrations. Let's go ahead and get into the weather, what we could expect for the next couple of weeks. We're going to take a look at the jet stream. This is what this is, 500 millibars. It's basically up near the tropospheric layer. Now, what does all this even mean? Well, a ridge is usually associated with good weather and warmer weather in most cases, and a trough is usually associated with bad weather and cooler weather. Now, last week we were in a little bit of a quiet pattern, which was well needed after we got in on what was back-to-back-to-back severe weather and flooding events. Now, of course, all that rainwater is going all down into the Ohio and Mississippi rivers, as there's actually flood warnings up along the Mississippi and parts of the Ohio River. So be aware of this for the next few weeks. Now, as we jump into today and tomorrow, there is actually going to be some severe weather today over the Ohio Valley, as a slight risk has been issued for all hazards. So make sure you have all those alerts set and you know where to go when that tornado warning is issued for your location, and you'll be just fine. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. Not expecting a big day, but of course, low-end risks usually come with significant severe weather events in most cases, so please be hyper weather aware today just in case. You can see that severe is going to be moving out, and there's going to be a trough coming in. Could bring some cold air on Tuesday into Wednesday, but then by the middle of this week, we're going to come into a little bit of a warm-up. You can see a ridge coming in, but on Thursday and Friday, there is a 15% chance for severe weather. On Friday, there's a chance from Texas up into Michigan. And on Thursday, it's over here in Iowa, Nebraska, and parts of Missouri. The reason behind this is because we're going to have a bowling ball trough coming through and a ridge sitting in out in the northeast and the southeast. Cold air coming down from the north and warm air coming down up from the south. And of course, whammo, the bullseye is over here in the central part of the country by Thursday and Friday into Saturday. So could be coming into another active pattern as we head into this weekend. Now, of course, the further we go out, the more uncertainty. So let's go ahead and show y'all a map that you're probably most familiar with, which is the composite reflectivity here on the GFS. We can see, of course, today, not much really going on other than some severe weather going on over here in the Ohio Valley. Could be a late evening into overnight events. So again, make sure you have those alerts turned on and you're hyper weather aware just in case if a tornado warning is issued for your location. Now that's going to move out, bring some cool air over here out east. See some snow showers up here by Michigan, where they had the ice storm a couple weeks ago, I think it was, and power's still out up there, unfortunately. Here in some areas could be out for about a month, so that really sucks for y'all. I feel for y'all up there. Now we're going to be coming into a little bit of a quiet pattern out east. Some showers over here by Missouri, but heavy snowfall occurring up there in the northwest. Drought conditions worsening here in the southwest, unfortunately. And then our active pattern is going to start to set up as we head into Thursday, Friday, and on Saturday. And we're going to be coming back into a severe weather and flooding pattern again with some snow up here by Minnesota and more snow up here in the northwest. Still dry in the southwest. Getting real dreary up here in the northeast. And of course, we're heading into almost 300 hours out. Very uncertain, and the model's in cuckoo land this far out. So again, basically, active weather pattern setting up as we head into this weekend. Severe weather on Thursday and on Friday. I'll let you know on X and Facebook what the main hazards will be. We don't know what the main hazards will be just yet, but I'm expecting all hazards to be possible. So make sure you're hyper weather aware, because this severe weather season has been an active one so far. And of course, you can see today on Monday, all hazards possible, 5% chance for tornadoes, and a 15% chance for hail and high winds. Later tonight, of course. And we can see the risk of heavy precipitation down here from Texas up into Missouri as we head into the end of the month. So we could be coming in on more flooding, unfortunately, as we head into the end of the month, as another active weather pattern is going to be setting up. But no hazards for snow is expected. The northwest is going to be coming in on a lot of heavy snowfall, but pretty typical for this time of year. And as we take a look at the drought map, we can see the southwest is coming in on a very bad drought down there, and it's not looking like any relief is going to be in sight anytime soon, unfortunately. And to add salt to the wound down there, going to have some high winds, so definitely going to be feeling some wildfire conditions down there, unfortunately. And as we take a look at the precipitation outlook for the next 6 to 10 days, could be coming in on some relief. I'm not expecting much though, but we can see much of the country's coming in on an active weather pattern as we head into right around the 19th to 23rd time frame. Drying out here by California up into the northwest, although could be coming in on a lot of snowfall and potential drought relief up here in the northern plains. And by the end of the month, you can see the southwest is going to be drying out again. Not good for those drought conditions, but much of the country is going to be coming in on above normal precipitation, which is really not needed out east. All this rain needs to actually go down here to the desert southwest. Y'all need it down there. We don't need it anymore. Ground's overly saturated, and our rivers are well above flood stage at this point. But it's getting better, so that's a good thing. Now, other than precipitation, let's go ahead and get into the temperatures of what we could expect. It's pretty nice and warm today. It's feeling that severe weather threat out here in the Ohio Valley. Keep in mind all hazards are possible, but don't be scared, but be prepared. As long as you prepare for the worst, hope for the best, just fine. And it's going to cool down again here as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. Could be a little chilly out here in the Ohio Valley, but warming up pretty nicely here in the central and western part of the country. So enjoy the nice warm temperatures while they last, because unfortunately, as we head into this weekend, it's not going to last because that trough's going to start to move eastward, bring severe weather here to the central part of the country as we head into Thursday and Friday. We can see really hot temperatures down here in Texas as we head into Wednesday and into Thursday, especially on Thursday. Some 90-degree temperatures as far north as Nebraska. It's got cold air coming down from the north, warm air coming up from the south. Going to be a powder cake environment on Thursday. And on Friday, we see that cold front coming through. Nice warm temperatures leading up into this weekend, though, out east. And of course, it's going to get knocked out by a cold front. And cold air is going to start to slightly win out. But of course, we're going to be in this typical springtime volatile temperature pattern as we head into the end of the month. But it's looking like that warm air could win out as we head into the end of April. So something to look forward to, y'all. We just got to get past this week, and I think we're going to be in the clear as far as cold temperatures go. When we're done with that, at least, y'all. I'm sure y'all wanting to see the above and below average temperature anomalies. You can see, going to be heading from above normal to below normal in the short term here out east, but well above normal out west. And this is going to shift as we head in the end of this week. Severe weather in the central part of the country. Going to be 30 degrees above normal here in the central part, and about 30 degrees below normal up in the northwest, because y'all coming in on heavy snowfall up there. And we can see that warm air is going to be knocked out, replaced by cold air as we head into the end of this weekend. And then that warm air is going to start to come back as we head into the end of the month. We can see some nice warm air coming back. But we just got to get past this week, y'all. We're going to be just fine. And we can see just this here. The risk of hazardous temperatures from the 19th and the 20th going to be a little bit cold here in the Ohio Valley. So I think once we get past this time frame, we're going to be just fine, y'all. Because as we can see, although it showed on the 19th and 20th could be coming in on some very cold temperatures here in the Ohio Valley, it's going to be warming up pretty nicely as we're going to be coming in on above normal temperatures from the 19th into the 23rd. Of course, the desert southwest is going to be cool and dry. Drought conditions are going to be worsening down there. Northwest is going to be cold and snowy, I would expect, but some drought relief could be in store. And of course, as we head into the next 8 to 14 days, we're going to be having an active weather pattern as we head into the end of the month, but it's going to be warming up drastically as we're going to have a clash of the temperatures. Cold air coming down from the north, warm air from the south, but that's going to be resulting in a stabilization of the temperatures, as above normal temperatures is going to be sticking around as we head into the end of the month for much of the country, unless you live up in the northwest and the desert southwest. It's looking to be snowy, cold, and some drought relief could be stored up there, and cold and dry down the southwest. Now, I want to show you all the precipitation, what we could be getting in, since we are going to be coming back into an active weather pattern here at the end of this week and towards the end of the month. Could be coming in on an additional 2 to 4 inches, possibly, so watch out for additional flooding as rivers are already swelled up and dealing with this past system that we got in on a couple weeks ago. So unfortunately, too many April showers are going to not bring May flowers, unfortunately. Now, the northwest, y'all may see on the thumbnail that y'all are going to be coming in on heavy snowfall and some drought relief, as you can see up here in the northern plains. Hopefully y'all can see that. Could be coming in on some well-needed rain up there. I know there's been reports that y'all are in a little bit of a drought out there. Now, as far as the snow goes, we're going to take a look at the national blend of models. This is the most conservative model to use for snow. But we can see this is well over 200 hours out, but we can see about almost a foot of snowfall in the higher elevations, of course. Cascade, Sierra Nevada is about the same, but the lower elevations, of course, the lower the snow totals go. So, unfortunately, still dealing with snow and cold temperatures up there. So, if you're a snow lover, enjoy it. If you hate snow like I do, then, of course, it's a bummer. Now, if you do have some ski resorts open out there, I'm sure y'all still do, then get out there and enjoy those. Could have some more snow on top of those good old ski resorts. So, now that I covered all that, let's go ahead and get into some significant weather events from April 14th all the way into the 21st. I know this Friday is actually Good Friday, so get out there and enjoy that nice 3-day weekend, y'all. Now, on April 14th, 1935, it was Black Sunday. It's called the Dust Bowl. One of the worst dust storms in American history swept across the Great Plains, particularly Oklahoma and Texas. Winds up to 60 miles an hour carried millions of tons of dirt, creating a massive black cloud that darkened skies far as Chicago. And a fun fact about that is the term Dust Bowl was coined by a journalist after this event. Now, the next day, on April 15th to 16th of 1927, we had the Great Mississippi Flood, which actually the Mississippi is going to be flooding here soon. Next 3 weeks, y'all are under flood warnings along the Mississippi River. In 1927, torrential rains caused the Mississippi River to breach levees, flooding 27,000 square miles across multiple states. Over 600,000 people were displaced, and damages reached about $1 billion in 1927 dollars. A fun fact, the flood led to the first widespread use of radio for disaster relief coordination, a game changer for communication. So in 1927, they used the radio for the first time to communicate when a disaster struck. Now in 2011, this is not related to the Tuscaloosa tornado, but in April 16, 2011, there was a tornado outbreak that occurred over by the Carolinas into Virginia. It spawned over 57 tornadoes in a single day, with 30 confirmed across North Carolina alone, making it the state's worst tornado outbreak ever, fueled by a volatile mix of warm humid air and a screaming jet stream, just like we talked about earlier, the jet stream. Charleston Ridges supposed to be having an active weather pattern by the end of this week, but relating to this, supercells erupted, hurling twisters through urban and rural areas alike in North Carolina. An EF3 tornado tore through Bertie County near Esquivel at 6:55 p.m., obliterating 67 homes and 37 mobile homes, killing 11 people, including a family of 3, and injuring 58. Raleigh faced a rare tornado emergency as an EF3 roared through downtown, shredding 440 homes and 21 businesses. Fayetteville and Sanford also took hits, with schools and neighborhoods battered. The outbreak claimed 26 lives in total, 24 in North Carolina, 2 in Virginia, and left 371 injured, with damages topping $300 million. Clear skies earlier in the day had lulled some into complacency, but by afternoon, black clouds and howling winds turned streets into war zones, kind of like the Joplin event, really. Now, a fun fact about that is a Raleigh weatherman's live broadcast was cut short when his station tower was snapped by the twister, leaving him yelling, "We're still here," into a dead mic like a scene from a disaster flick. So there's one of the tornado outbreaks that occurred in April. Now, the next one was in, I think it was April 25th. I think it was the Tuscaloosa event. Cover that one in the next video, by the way. Now, April 18th, 1880, there was a Missouri tornado outbreak that occurred. A series of tornadoes tore through Missouri, with Marshfield nearly wiped out by an F4 twister that killed 99 people. And a fun fact about this is the Marshfield tornado was so intense, it drove a piece of straw through a tree trunk. A bizarre natural phenomenon reported by eyewitnesses. This event spurred early interest in tornado forecasting through science, though science was a decades from cracking it. So this is when people got interested in tornado forecasting, was in the 1800s, and of course the word tornado was banned a while back, and then they finally brought it back later on. Now, some wartime weather history from April 14th and the 21st, starting off with the Revolutionary War, the Battle of Lexington and Concord, April 19th, 1775. The war's opening shots happened just within the window of the 14th to the 21st, kicking off the Revolution. Weather records are sparse, of course, but diaries note a clear, mild spring morning, ideal for the British march from Boston to Concord, and the militia's rapid response. The lack of rain or mud allowed swift movement, enabling Paul Revere's ride and militia musters. A fun fact, The clear weather let the shot heard round the world echo far, with farmers hearing musket fire miles away, rallying more to the fight. And a critical note about this is, while the weather didn't hinder either side, the Patriots' local knowledge gave them an edge over British troops that weren't used to colonial terrain, showing how environment, not just weather, tipped early skirmishes. Now, some context for the April 14th and 21st time frame for the Revolutionary War from 1776 to 1781. Mid-April was typically a time of regrouping after winter encampments, like Valley Forge in 1778, for example. Weather diaries from George Washington and others describe variable spring conditions, rain, fog, or occasional warmth that affected troop movements, but weren't decisive in major engagements during these exact dates. For example, in April 1777, Washington's army in New Jersey dealt with muddy roads from spring rains, delaying minor skirmishes, but not tied to a specific battle from the 14th into the 21st. The lack of precise April 14th to 21st events suggests weather's role was more logistical than dramatic here, unlike later wars. Now, in the Civil War, the Battle of Shiloh aftermath in Tennessee, April 16th to 17th of 1862, torrential rain soaked the Shiloh battlefield after 2 days of brutal fighting that left over 23,000 dead or wounded. Muddy roads stalled Confederate retreats and slowed Union Confederate Grant's pursuit, while wounded soldiers lay stranded in flooded fields waiting for help. A fun fact, the downpour was so wild a pig got stuck in the mud near camp and squealed so loud soldiers thought it was rebel shrieking. Now, a little bit after the Civil War, we had the Lincoln assassination that occurred on April 14th, 1865, on my birthday, of course. One of two events was this and the Titanic, which the Titanic one's next. The Lincoln assassination, a balmy, starlit evening draped Washington in a deceptive calm, drawing a lively crowd to Ford's Theater for a comedy, Our American Cousin. President Abraham Lincoln, weary from the Civil War's end just days prior, sat in the presidential box with his wife Mary. At 10:15 p.m., John Wilkes Booth, a famed actor and Confederate sympathizer, slipped in, fired a single bullet into Lincoln's head, and leapt to the stage shouting, "Sic semper tyrannis," before vanishing into the night. The clear weather packed the theater, amplifying the nation's shock as the word spread of the presidential's mortal wound. He died hours later. Now, a fun fact about this is, which is not really a fun fact, but Booth's escape horse, spooked by cheering crowds earlier, nearly threw him under moonlight like a bandit chased by fate itself. Now, of course, another event that occurred on my birthday, and this is probably why I'll never be on a cruise ship, or probably won't even be president really at this point, is the Titanic disaster. Y'all pretty much know the main story of Titanic. It was on its maiden voyage to set a record to go to New York City, but of course it hit an iceberg at 11:40 in the evening on April 14th and sank at 2:20 in the morning. 28-degree waters killed 1,500 people. A lot of them drowned, of course, and there were some animals that were lost as well. But y'all most likely did not know that they actually thought they were far enough south to avoid the icebergs. That's why they went full steam ahead in the iceberg warning area. And of course, the lifeboats, they didn't have enough on board, but that was the regulations at the time. They meant the minimum standards. But of course, the disaster led to a reshaping of maritime safety, which actually, that's what it usually takes, is a big old disaster to reshape anything. But if you ever go down to the Titanic Museum in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee and Branson, Missouri, they have water down there that's 28 degrees. Stick your fingers in that, and that's pretty much what these people felt that died in that water. It's very treacherous, very, very sad too. I did full research on this back in 2023 and found a book called, I think it's Sea of Glass. I tried looking for it today. No luck trying to find it. It's somewhere around here, but here's a photo of the book that I'm talking about. It goes over detail on the beginning and ending of Titanic, the building of it, and the investments that they made to make sure this Titanic was built. It was the most expensive and biggest liner at the time. And surprisingly enough, I know the Titanic movie portrays the Titanic as this big thing and people were in shock at all of it, but it was old news by the time it set sail, and it wasn't really big news at the time until it sank, of course. And here in America, the newspaper said that everybody made it out, but they even had fake news back then, of course. And down below here, you can see the debris field, the stern and the bow, are 1,600 feet apart, and they have new footage of Titanic on the seafloor. Go check it out. It's on AccuWeather and Fox Weather. It's starting to further deteriorate, and I think 100 years from now, it's not going to be there anymore. It'll just be a big old spot on the seafloor. So rest in peace to all those who died on that fateful night. And here's a fun fact about this event. There's a Pomeranian pup that was cradled by its owner and yipped defiantly on a lifeboat. That 100% be my dog too. I have a little miniature dachshund named Minion. Those little dogs like to bark, I can tell you. She would definitely be yipping. She was on a lifeboat. She'd be scared. Rightfully so. So yeah, that's the Titanic disaster and the Lincoln assassination. That's why I'll never be on a cruise ship or probably ever be president. And again, please go check that book out on Titanic. It's very fascinating. I still have yet to go through the book, but it has a lot of detail in there about the beginning and the ending and even the memorials of those who were lost. And make sure you go down to the Pigeon Forge and Branson Museums while you're at it, by the way, as well. Oh, and one last thing. They had a coal fire down there in the boiler room on the right side. It actually weakened the steel, and they actually had to do something to re-strengthen it. That's actually where they hit at. So they had to shove coal on the other side of the boat, and the boat was doing this the whole time. It had sort of the Detroit lean, and when they struck the iceberg, that water gushed in there and sort of leveled it out, right? And then it did sort of this kind of thing and then snapped. Now, if they would have went head on like people think they should have, then it would have just capsized and would have been, I think, like the Lusitania ship that got blown up accidentally during World War I. They were kind of lucky where it hit at, but it was sort of unlucky at the same time. It's still unfortunate that even happened. So that's the full story of it. But again, go check that book out that I mentioned earlier and go down to the Titanic museums that I mentioned as well. Very fascinating stuff and very tragic as well. Now, World War I, 1914 and 1918. April 16th of 1917, nearing the end of World War I. The Second Battle of Aisne in France. Freezing rain and fog blanketed the Aisne River Valley as French troops charged German trenches in the Nivelle Offensive, a desperate bid to break the stalemate. Mud sucked at boots and jammed tanks, while poor visibility turned artillery barrages into guesswork, costing thousands in a bloody slog that gained little ground. Fun fact, a soldier's soggy love letter was tucked in a trench, survived to be found decades later, whispering romance from a muddy grave. Now, World War II, there's actually a lot of events that occurred in World War II within the April 14th and 21st time frame. April 15th and 16th, 1941, Belfast blitzed Crystal. Clear skies betrayed Belfast, Northern Ireland, guiding Luftwaffe bombers to unleash on its docks, factories, and tightly packed homes. Over 900 died in a single night as fires devoured streets with cloudless skies, offering no shield from the relentless air raid. Fun fact, a gusty zookeeper dodged explosions to free a baby elephant who trumpeted its way to safety like a four-legged war hero. April 16th to 21st of 1941, the Battle of Tobruk, raging Kashmir. Dust storms swept Libya's desert, blinding German tanks and grounding planes during the siege of Tobruk, giving Australian and British defenders a chance to dig in and rebel Rommel's Africa's corpse. Fun fact, a soldier's sand-clogged harmonica still wailed defiant tunes, becoming Tobruk's gritty battle cry. April 18th of 1942, the Doolittle raid. Turbulent seas and stormy clouds rocked the USS Hornet, forcing 16 US B-25s to launch 650 missiles from Japan 10 hours early for a daring raid on Tokyo. Lifting Allied spirits, most crews crash-landed in China, braving the odds. Fun fact, a pilot's lucky rabbit foot slipped from his plane only to be picked up by a Chinese farmer who thought it was a gift from the sky. The last one here, April 14th to 21st of 1945, the Battle of Berlin. Relentless spring rains and fog turned Berlin's outskirts into a quagmire, gumming up Soviet tanks and artillery as they choked off the Nazi capital. Still, the Red Army's sheer numbers smashed through the hasting Hitler's end. Fun fact, a Soviet tank slathered in mud rolled into Berlin with "To Berlin" scrawled on it like a grimy middle finger to the right. So hopefully y'all enjoyed today's video. If you did, again, hit that like and share buttons. More folks are informed about the weather. Also, leave me some feedback in the comment section down below. I appreciate any sort of feedback y'all leave me, as feedback helps provide you, the viewer, better, more informative content in the future. And I'll also have a Rumble channel if you wanted to check that out as well. WilliamsWX90. I'd greatly appreciate if y'all go follow that channel as well, and hit that subscribe button down below. It helps more than you know, and it's free. Hit that like button as well. So basically, we could be coming into another active weather pattern by the end of this week and into next week potentially. Going to be coming into some volatile temperatures, but warm air is going to win out, so that's good news. Of course, in the northwest, y'all going to be coming in on heavy snowfall. Southwest, y'all going to be drying out and going to be a little bit cool down there. And there's going to be some drought relief in the northern plains, so that's something to look forward to. Just look forward to that. So just get ready for another volatile weather pattern, y'all. Unfortunately, of course, April showers bring May flowers, and I will have a May outlook up on April 29th, I think. And I will have a hurricane outlook up on May 27th. I know it's a little late to have that out, but I want to be as accurate as possible for y'all, and I wanted to push it back. So just to let y'all know, it's when those videos are going to be out, so look forward to those. As too much April showers is going to be bringing too many May flowers, and this hurricane season could be a very active one as we're heading into a more of an Enso neutral pattern. I'll leave y'all with that little cliffhanger there. So again, like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate all y'all for watching. And until next time, never stop forecasting.